You was like, yeah, we need to go.
Let's go.
I think that might have been our first time on the plane together.
Yeah, we got.
Yeah, because I think when we go on vacation, we need to drive all the time.
I don't remember, but I know we got that. We have that picture up in here somewhere. The picture that we took at the concert, and I had the little. Keisha had dyed my hair.
Oh yeah, when you had the little fro.
Yeah.
I remember.
But I think too, we also on that trip, didn't we go to like a school? He did something at a school that morning.
Yeah.
You know, where he went and spoke to some kids and everything.
Sure did.
And then that night or that one day those evening, that's when the concert was.
Well, yeah.
And you meet R. Swift too at the time?
I met Swift. I met Israel, Mac the Doulos, the group Everyday Process, Flame. Everybody was there. All of the Cross Movement artists were there. That's when Cross Movement was, still on and popping.
Yeah.
But I do remember, getting through the concert and all that stuff. And we went to the Waffle House afterwards.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it was something, that Waffle House is what it was. That Waffle House was pivotal. It was pivotal. Pivotal. My wife a teacher, so she gonna probably be correcting me a whole bunch through this. But I remember, I had passed out BCDs and stuff to all of them, and you're kind of just hoping, please listen to the CD, please. And I remember Vernon, DJ Jesus Beats, shout out to DJ Jesus Beats. He actually had stole the CD from Preston House. He stole my BCD from Preston House, but that's the best thing he could have ever did, is steal the CD. And he was bumping the beat tape on the way to the Waffle House. And we had already been inside, but and Vernon was behind us, but Preston, you had Israel and Swift, all of them were getting out the car at the same time too. And they was like, yo, who made them beats? He was like, man, Marv, he made them. And man, they came in that Waffle House and it was like, yo, man, let me get your number. Man, we need to get you on the project. And man, we was just like, I was just like, man.
If you would have never gone.
If I would have never went. I was just like, man, oh man, this is really happening. And then I can remember, you get all the information numbers and stuff. I can remember on our way home, I remember telling my wife, I said, baby, I might need to quit this job if this thing become a full-time gig. And we was like, okay, well, if it's God, we gonna pray. And you can't do nothing to get yourself fired. You can't intentionally do anything to get yourself fired. And we said, okay. So we was praying, and I just went back to work the next Monday. I was driving trucks for Champion Site Prep. And my job was about an hour and a half away. Drove there every day for about a year. And I remember I was on a job site because they would do the streets for, different restaurants and all this stuff. So I was on the job site and I was getting ready to go to another job site but I was driving a water truck. And as I backed up, as I was going forward, I hit a brand new fire hydrant and bent it. You know what I'm saying? Now, I ain't bent it much, but I didn't bend it a whole bunch, but I bent it. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, okay, man, you got to go take a drug test, blah, blah, blah. Did that. Went back to the job site. And my boss, he's Harley. He said, man, Marvin, man, I'm going to have to let you go. He says, out of our hands. He said, I tried to talk to the bosses, but the bosses said you had to go. And immediately, that's when I knew this was the Lord, because I wasn't trying to hit no water hydrant. Right. And my wife, she was at school. And I called her. She was like, hey, I'm at school. I said, hey, I just got fired. And I think my wife said, praise the Lord, and hung up. I got to go. And that's what started the journey, as I was able to do music as a full-time job during that time. And but I say all that to say, just having somebody to even to give you the courage, because, this is what I want to say. I don't think none of this would have been possible had my wife had my wife not been in agreement with it. That's what my thought was. Like, you know, for me to even be able to do the music and go out of town, and if she'd have had any issues and this would become a problem, I don't think I would be here today.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I know there's, you know, some dudes that go through that. You know what I'm saying? And this is not just for producers, but this is for artists, for anything. You know what I'm saying? There's no way in the world that none of this would have been possible if my wife wasn't in agreement. So that was a number one confirmation for me that my wife was able to roll with it and she wasn't going to be stressed. I'm not saying that she didn't have no stressful time because, you know, the fact, you know, me doing the music or not, I had to be able to figure out a way how to make money with the music.
Yeah.
You know, so she wasn't walking around, you know, not, you know, she wasn't stressing me, but our kids wasn't poor neither. I mean, we wasn't poor, you know what I'm saying? So I had to make this work. She believed in me enough to say, okay, I believe in you, but we got to make it work. So that's what I want to say. And I think I appreciate that so much, baby, because I know even today, if you wouldn't have been in agreement or, you know, with me doing this, knowing that, you know, it gives a lot.
Right.
You know, it's no way possible.
Yeah.
You know, so I appreciate that. That's what I wanted to say that. And that's how you're going to know if that's a sign of if this is going to be one of the signs that you know it's God. For those that are married, that if this is something that if this is the season for you to do something, your wife got to be okay with it. At least that's how it was for me. That was one of my gauges because there's no way in the world I was going to be able to continue on and she wasn't. Yeah, and not because she would be mad, because I just was like, I had enough sense to know, and keep in mind, we had already had friendship prior to that. So I didn't want to even jeopardize, you know, what I want to put my dreams and stuff over my wife, nor my family, nor my kids. You know what I'm saying? So I do appreciate that. Yeah. You know,
I think that's what's important. Something that's important even with that, you know, like you said, we would have to be in agreement, and that's so important for everything to flow well. Two keys, I would say. One, like I was saying earlier, you know, wives, we have to let God show us, or whatever it takes, to see your husband in his happy place, in his happy space, and enjoy seeing him there, and know that it's a need for them to be actually all that God called them to be. It's a need for them to be able to be the best man that they can be, the best spouse that they can be, the best partner, the best friend. But they need to be able to have, you know, that they need to be able to have that area that makes them, you know, feel like they're doing what they're called to do. Or feel like they're doing what they're made to do. Yeah. And then I think the other thing is, and sometimes I may have told you this before in arguments or whatever, but I just always had this feeling like my husband is not my source. Yeah. Like God is the source. Yeah. And I think that's important, because when I make you the source, that means that when we're lacking, or if anything is out of place, then I'm going to put all that pressure on you to handle business. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And which, don't get me wrong, you know what I'm saying? We have to allow them to carry their load. Yeah. We have to allow them to carry their responsibility. His responsibility is not my responsibility. Right. But at the same time, I'm not going to allow it to get me into a place where I am being a burden now, because I'm relying on him to be the ultimate source. Right. You know what I'm saying? God is the ultimate source. Right. So if I'm afraid that something's not going to get taken care of, then I need to pray that God give you the wisdom that you need. God bring us the funds that we need, you know, all of those different things, you know what I'm saying? And I think that just goes all around with everything, you know, in any relationship. Like, nobody the other person is not your source. You're not my source of happiness.
Yeah.
You're not my source of wholeness. You're not my source of fulfillment.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And vice versa. And when we can release that from each other, then we're able to walk with one another. We're able to push one another to be the best that we are called to be. We're able to watch each other flow in our different, metrons, whatever it is that God have for, that person or whatever. And I think, I just think that's important. If a lot of, young women, young wives, I want to lay that, saying? Lay that at your feet. You know what I'm saying? That is a undue burden that you put on your husband. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? To be your source of any of that. Yeah. And so with that, you can watch them fly and be all that they call it to be. And I think that a happy and fulfilled man, I feel like I have benefited because I have to honestly say that there is nothing that I could ask for that I know he wouldn't flip the world upside down to give it to me. Right. You know what I'm saying?
And I think because you have always been that type of wife and type of woman, it always made me want to, man. My wife, I don't want to say she's low maintenance. She's not. Because when she wants something, she wants something. But it drives me to want to do it because she doesn't press. She's not like, I need this and I need it. Blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? And it makes me want to give her the world because she doesn't have to trying to keep up with the Jones mentality. She doesn't have those tendencies, which just makes me want to give her more. You know what I'm saying? And when it's something that she wants, man, I'm gonna try to flip the world upside down because she don't ask for a lot. You know what I'm saying? And I thank the Lord for that. Really
appreciate that.
Yeah. So. Yeah. All right. So let's flip it up for a minute. What have been, for the lack of better words, maybe some of my downfalls or flaws when it comes to? I know we talked about balance. What has been something that may have been frustrating to you that? In this whole journey as a musician, what has been, I don't want to say frustrating, but maybe a challenge or something that you'd be like, okay, well, I'm gonna just have to trust God with this because he ain't changing right now. He not, I'm trying to just make sense. Did that make sense to you? What can you think of some things that may have? Let me take a deep breath on this. And listen, y'all. I just want my wife to be transparent and say it because, to speak our heart, because I know that, hopefully this would encourage other, husband and wives that are, may have business and stuff going on and just need to be able to know how to maneuver through it. So. I wanted to just, speak our heart on it.
I don't know. I don't want to come across as if like I don't worry about nothing.
Yeah.
I would say that, I don't worry about it. I don't, besides some of the challenge that we spoke about before, being able to balance things out. That was challenging. That was a challenging time that we went through. I also think that I was about to say being able to balance it out. Oh man, I just lost my thought. What was I about to say? Being able to balance it out, balance out the time and stuff. I think that it may have been, it's frustrating to me sometimes when I feel like you I think there was like one time maybe one or two times where I feel like you passed up opportunities or you messed up opportunities because of thinking wrong about it. You know, like being prideful or, you know, being like, you know, no, they didn't want rock with